Hello guys and welcome back to the NW Sportscast. Today I am here with Levi Cougar and let's just jump right into it. We're going to be doing every single NFL team prediction today. Not just that, we are also going to be doing who's going to win the Super Bowl and everything. Let's get started. We're using a super cool app called playoffpredictors.com. Look it up if you guys want to do the same thing, but it's super simple and it works really, really well. Levi, let's get started with the Ravens. What division is that's the end? That's
AFC
the
North.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So you want to just do full division predictions, and we can
Sure, go
talk
ahead.
for each division. All right. So for me, I have the Ravens winning the North at 12-5. Then I have Cleveland coming in at 10-7. Pittsburgh one game behind them at 9-8, just missing out on the playoffs. And then the Bengals at 5-12, finishing last, but certainly a little bit of improvement from last year.
I have the Ravens at 11-6, narrowly edging out the division
So
versus
we're very close
the
on the Ravens.
Browns at 10-7. And then I have the Steelers taking a big fall at 8-9 this year, and the Bengals at 6-11. Some key matchups for the Baltimore Ravens this year. I think week 6, I have the Chargers beating the Ravens. I think that's going to be a small upset. I like the Chargers in that one. As well, I have, who else do I have? I have Baltimore beating the Chargers in week 17, securing them a playoff berth. I think that's a really big game as well, and I think many people will go for the LA Chargers there. So I think that's a really big one. And then watch out for week 12 and week 14, where the Browns and the Ravens play each other in week 12 and 14 with only 1 week break in between, and that will decide the division. Watch out for that. I have them splitting, but if the Cleveland Browns and someone win both those games, then this would go to the Browns, so watch out for that as well.
Yeah, I have them splitting those two games as well. That seems like the most logical, but who knows? Maybe the Browns can take them both, or maybe the Ravens will take them both.
Another thing about this division, I really liked the Bengals. I really like the Bengals, except for the fact that when I looked at the division, I just didn't see many guys that they could actually beat. I thought they were going to be an A1 team. They ended up going 6-11. Some key losses. I have them losing week 2 against the Bears. I think it's a winnable game, but I think that's really going to kill morale. And then in week 15, I do have them beating the Denver Broncos, and that's going to be their only win between week 14 and week 18, really killing any momentum they have going into next season. But however, they will get a pretty good draft pick. Let's move on to the AFC South.
So for the South, just a quick recap though. For the North, I had the Ravens 1 game higher than him. I had the Steelers 1 game higher than him. I had the Bengals 1 game lower than him, and we had the Browns. Both of us had him at 10. So we're pretty similar in the North. So here's my AFC South predictions. I have the Colts winning the division at 9-8, going on a 4-game win streak to win the division. So I have them at 5-8, heading into the bye. After the bye, they win 4 in a row to get a 9-8 and win the division. I think it's a weak division this year. Titans 8-9. I think they take a step back. I don't think Henry and Tannehill can keep it up for a 3rd straight year. And Julio Jones getting a little bit older. The defense is not great. They also lost their head coach or their head coordinator last year to be the head coach of the Falcons. So I think that's an underrated loss. Then I have the Texans at 6-11. I think they can pick up some decent wins against bad teams, but when they play good teams, they're just going to struggle. Tyrod Taylor usually beats bad teams though, so I think it's certainly possible they can pick up 5 or 6 wins. And then Jacksonville, I have them at 4-13. I do not trust Urban Meyer as a coach. I do think Trevor Lawrence will be decent, but the defense is terrible. They have bad coordinators, and Urban Meyer is I don't think he's it.
I agree with you in this, where I have the Colts win division at 9-8, and I also have the Titans at 8-9. Where I disagree is I have the Texans and the Jaguars being the 2 worst teams in football at both 2-15. So while you have 6 wins for the Texans, Levi, I only have at 2, and I also have only 2 wins for the Jaguars. Some key games for the Colts. I think week 1 is a key game versus the Seahawks. I do have the Seahawks edging that out. I also think week 2 is a key game for the Colts. I have the Rams edging that out. Week 3 is a key game against the Tennessee Titans, and I have the Titans edging that out. Week 4 as well is a key game against the Miami Dolphins. I have losing that too. So they're 0-4 to start the year. But then they get hot. They win in week 8, week 9, week 10, week 11, They lose to Tampa Bay in a pretty close one. I think that they're going to take that to OT. And then they win Week 13. They have a good win against Arizona. Then they close out the year with some really key wins that are going to take them into the playoffs. Yeah, their beginning is very, very hard, and Carson Wentz is going to be hurt. But I think when he finds his groove, and when I think T.Y. Hilton's going to find a little bit of a groove as well back this year, their defense is really, really strong. I think they're going to narrow out a pretty weak division at 9-8. You want to go on to the AFC? AFC, what do we have, West?
Yeah, just real quick again for that one. So we were the same exact for Colts and Titans.
Completely different for the
I was 4 games higher on the Texans and 2 games higher on the Jags. So I guess he just thinks they're a lot worse than I do, but we still agree that they're not competitive.
Let's go on to the AFC East. This is a very interesting division that, in many people's eyes, the Patriots have made a huge jump over the offseason with many, many signings. Let's see if I agree with that. I have the Bills in first place, the number 2 seed in the AFC at 13-4. They're going to get some huge wins this year. They're going to win in Week 2. They're going to win in Week 6 against Tennessee. As well, they're going to close out the year at 17-18 in Week 17 and 18, 2 wins there. They are going to lose to New England. They're going to split with New England this year, and that's going to barely edge them out. New England's going to have a chance to win at the end of the year, but Buffalo's just going to hold on just enough with a weak division, with the weak last couple games against Atlanta and New York Jets, as well as Carolina, and they're going to narrowly edge them out. Then I have the Patriots at 12-5. Also, I have the Dolphins at 12-5. They both make the division, so 3 teams are making the division in this one. However, the Patriots narrowly edge out the Dolphins for the 5th seed and a tiebreaker. But I think the Dolphins are going to be absolutely improved. If Tua was a better quarterback, I think they could actually win this division. They're only 1 game out, but I have them really, really, really hot. I have them winning Week 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 11. I do have Carolina having a sneaky win in Week 12, and that's going to cost them a division. Just like all young quarterbacks, Tua is going to make a big mistake in that game, and I think there's going to be a surprising loss there. But other than that, it's pretty much what you expect, and they're going to take every single game that they should take, other than that Carolina game in Week 12.
All right. Well, I actually have the Dolphins at 13-4, so I have them 1 game better than you. But for me, that wins them the division. So that's kind of the
exactly. That's 1 game.
That's probably my most controversial pick. I think the way I see it, the Dolphins last year had a top 10 defense. I think Brian Flores is a top 10 coach, and I think this year Tua is going to be a top 10 quarterback. I really buy into the Tua.
I disagree with that. That's the terrible take.
I mean, there's a reason why everyone was tanking for Tua.
That's terrible.
2 years ago, he was considered to be the next Drew Brees. I think he could still be the next Drew Brees.
No.
So I have them at 13-4. I have the Bills at 12-5. Again, a 1 game difference.
I hate that Tua take.
I love that.
10?
I think he's a top 10.
I think he's a bottom 10 quarterback in the league.
No way.
But their defense is
Tua was
so
good last
good.
year.
They have
When
a
he
great
played,
running game
people
and
don't
one of the
understand
best quarterbacks in the league.
When he played last year, Tua was good.
No.
He was literally as good as Fitzpatrick.
Nope. What do you have the Jets? I have
the Jets at 3-14.
Yeah, same.
And so our only difference really is New England. I have them at 7-10. I do not trust Mac Jones at all. The people who are saying he's going to be the next Tom Brady are just a bunch of Brady haters who think that
This
Brady's
is the guy
a
that
system
thinks Tua is the
QB.
top 10 quarterback.
They think that
This
people,
is the guy.
I'm done with the people who just say Brady's a system QB and Mac Jones is a system QB. Therefore,
You have
Mac
the
Jones
Patriots at 7-10?
with a rookie quarterback, they're not going to be that good. And they don't have great. They don't have great receiving weapons.
Tua's pretty much a rookie
No,
quarterback.
Tua has a year of experience.
No, he has a half year experience. and that was bad.
Tua was 6-3 last year,
Oh.
and
Because
Tua
he
was
did.
what was he? What
Ryan
pick, what
Fitzpatrick came in and saved him in like 2 of those
What
games.
pick was Tua?
Oh my
Tua was the
God.
5th overall. Mac Jones was not even top 10.
Mac
I don't buy Mac Jones at
won
all.
college football.
Mac Jones is. I do not buy Mac Jones at
Mac
all.
Jones just
I
came
think
off the biggest stage in college football, and you think he's not
I
going to
don't buy
perform
it.
at all? Bill Belichick?
Mac Jones' receiver won the Heisman over him.
Bill Belichick is there.
Bill Belichick.
going to
Bill
make
Belichick's
sure-
an average coach without Tom Brady. Without Tom
No!
Brady, Bill Belichick is an average
It's been
coach.
1 year. Oh my
No.
God.
In 7 years,
I
without
have
Tom.
the Jets winning week
Bill
5
Belichick's a
versus
losing
Atlanta,
record
week
without.
8 Cincinnati, and week 16 versus the Jaguars. We can continue this debate in a later
fact that
date.
You have, the fact that you have
We
New
can
England in
continue
the
this debate at a later
playoffs.
date.
The fact that you have New England in the playoffs over
We gotta
Cleveland
keep this
is
moving.
ridiculous.
We gotta keep this moving.
Let's move on to the AFC West. Chiefs, we both have them at 14-3.
Yep.
Chargers, you have them at 11. I have them at 10. We both agree they're a playoff team. Raiders.
I have barely sneaking
wow,
up to 17.
you really went low on the Raiders and the Broncos.
I'm 4-13 and 3-14.
I have the Raiders at 7, Broncos at 6.
I'm gonna be honest. The Raiders win against Denver once. They're gonna lose the other time. They are going
you have
to.
them beating them both times.
They're going to. Oh, do I really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They haven't beaten Denver twice. I have them beating the Chargers in Week 18 when LA sits their guys. And I have them beating the Giants in Week 9. That's pretty much it. I don't see them beating the Chiefs ever. I see the Bears taking a game against them. I see Pittsburgh taking their game. I see Chargers, Miami. I think Cincinnati having a surprising game in Week 11 against them. Dallas is better. Washington's better. Cleveland's better. Indianapolis is better. This is a 4 to 7 win team. I think I have them on the lower end, but honestly, John Gruden is not a good coach. Derek Carr is a very average system quarterback, if not below average. You have Josh Jacobs, who's, yes, is a good running back, but where's the defense? I'm not buying it. I think the Raiders, although were in contention last year, had a terrible end of the season, and it's just going to continue. And then that's it. And I think the Chargers at 11-6 might be a little too high here, too, but some key games for the Chargers is they beat New England in Week 8, and they as well they beat Pittsburgh Week 11, and they start the year 4-0, and I think that's the really big thing. They beat Washington, they beat Dallas, they beat Kansas City in Week 3, Kansas City's first loss. Then they beat Las Vegas, and they do go on a little bit of a losing streak, Week 17 and 18, but they'll be good. They'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, my only thing is I do think Denver and Denver and Las Vegas, are a little bit better, but I agree that they're not going to be good. But I feel like Bridgewater and Carr are good enough to win a couple more games, but not a ton. All right, we gotta move on to a little bit. We gotta speed this up a bit. So
Packers.
NFC North, Packers 13-4. You have them at 11.
11-6. I have the Packers losing.
You have the Bears
games.
at 8-9. Wow. I have Chicago at 5-12. Minnesota also 5-12. I'm not very high on. Mike Zimmer has turned into a bad coach for the Vikings. Matt Nagy's a good coach for the Bears, but he's just in a terrible situation as far as quarterbacks go. Andy Dalton's not going to win a ton of games there.
Green Bay has a tough schedule. Green Bay, they're not beating the Chiefs. I think the Seahawks are going to take their game against them. They're not beating San Francisco, I don't think.
No, Green Bay always beats us.
LA is beating Green Bay. And I think
Rams, really? Oh,
and I think Chicago and Minnesota are going to take one of the two.
Wow.
I think Chicago and Minnesota are going to take one of the two. I think Chicago...
I do have Chicago always beats them once, so I agree with that. But Minnesota maybe.
And I have
but
Chicago...
the Rams are not beating them.
I have Chicago late in the year having a potential payoff push, and they're not going to get it done. But I think Justin Fields is going to be pretty good.
Listen to this guy. He thinks that at home they will lose to the Rams.
Yeah, I do.
No.
I do. The Rams are a great football team. We'll see, but I have at 14.
All right, after that, so you have Minnesota and Chicago both at 8. I have them both at 5, and then you have Detroit at 2. I have Detroit at 4. I think Jared Goff can win more than 2, but not many. I have him at 4.
I have the Lions as the worst team in the NFC. Let's move on to the South. The reigning Bucks. I do have them as the 2 seed in the NFC this year, and I have them winning the division at 14-3. And then I have the Panthers, who I said was going to improve, but they actually don't end up improving that much. I was kind of high on the Panthers going into this, but their schedule is a tough schedule, and honestly, 7 wins might be even a little too generous with Sam Darnold as the quarterback. I do have them winning against Miami in Week 12. Again, that's a surprise win. I think the Falcons are going to be okay. They're going to take that win there. But other than that, they just beat a bunch of mediocre teams, and they're going to sneak away with 7 wins. But again, there's not a playoff team right now. Then I have the Saints falling off from grace with Jameis Winston, only 7 wins. Again, not terrible, but 7 wins is not going to make you the playoffs. And then the Falcons, many people think they're on the Falcons, but I feel like everyone always thinks that, and they're going to end up at 4-13. They lost Julio.
Wow.
They
got Kyle Pitts, who's better, arguably.
Kyle Pitts is a rookie, like you said, about
the difference is rookie receivers can actually be good. Rookie quarterbacks are hardly ever have success. It's true. Justin Jefferson was the best rookie last year by far, outside of Justin Herbert. All the other rookie quarterbacks were bad.
Who do you in the South?
In the South, Bucks, I have them at 11.
11-6. Who do you have the 6 games losing to?
The Buccaneers always are going to lose some. Remember last year, the Buccaneers lost some weird ones.
Yeah,
so I have
them losing 3.
I think they lose Week 1 to the Dallas. I really am high on Dallas this year. That's my other controversial take. Dallas and Miami. I have them losing to the Rams. They lost to the Rams last year. I think they lose again. I have them losing a game to the Saints because again they lost to the Saints They lost twice to the Saints last year. I have them getting upset by Washington off the bye.
I have the Saints beating them in
and
Week 8.
then I have them losing. Okay, so we both agree the Saints will beat them. And then I have them losing to the Falcons and Panthers. So I have them losing a bunch of divisional games. And then and then the Rams, and then the upset to Washington. But I think Washington has the defense to stop them. Brady's gonna make mistakes. He's 44. He's gonna win the games that matter the most. But he's gonna make some mistakes, lose some divisional games. It makes sense. I have the Saints at 9-8, barely missing the playoffs. I'm a little bit more high on them. I think with Sean Payton, he's the best coach in the NFC, so I'm gonna give him some credit that he can have a winning team.
That team could make the playoffs, yeah. But I do have them at 7-10. I have them losing a couple.
I mean, it's only a 2-game difference really, so we're pretty close on them. And then I have the Panthers at 8-9, which if Drew hadn't have given them the random tie, then we would have them the same. So we're pretty much in agreement there. They're gonna be average. And then the Falcons, I have them at 8-9 too. I think the Falcons could be all right this year. I like their coach Arthur Smith. I think Arthur Smith could be the best first-year coach in the NFL this year. I loved him with the Titans. He made Ryan Tannehill look really good. The only concern is that the Falcons don't really have any running back, and their defensive line is not going to be great. So that's really the concern there. But besides that, I love their offense, especially their passing game. Kyle Pitts, I think, is going to be good, and Calvin Ridley is probably a top 10 receiver at this point. I think the Falcons could be decent, but again, 8-9 is not going to get them to the playoffs.
We got 4 minutes here, so let's speed this up.
All right.
Okay, Washington football team. 11 you have 11 wins this year.
See, I wanted to put them higher, but then the curse of the NFC East refuses me to allow a team to repeat as champions.
Listen, I have them losing game 1, and then winning game 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
You have them beating Buffalo and Kansas City. Okay, well, Kansas City, I have them beating KC too.
I think they're going to be really, really good this year.
I feel like they're going to be really streaky, because with Fitzpatrick as quarterback... Ryan Fitzpatrick is also... By the way, Fitzpatrick has never made the playoffs, so I can't really bet on him to make the playoffs.
Then I have the Cowboys at 10-7. I'm higher on them this year, and I have them barely sneaking into the playoffs as the 7th seed. And then the other 2 teams aren't that good, but I do think the Eagles won more games than I expected. I have them at 7 wins.
Wow.
7 wins and a tie.
I flipped the Eagles and Giants. I have Eagles at 5, Giants at 7. He has Giants at 4, Eagles at 7.
I thought I was going to like the Giants more, but looking over, I just have a tough schedule. In the West, our hardest division in football, I have 3 teams at 13 wins and above.
Rams a lot.
14 wins for the Rams. They are one of the best teams in football.
That's a 5-win difference. That's our biggest
difference. They were a top 4 team in the NFC last year, and they added Matthew Stafford. Some people think he's a top 8 quarterback.
No, he's not. I
think he's a top 10 quarterback.
Barely top 13.
I think he's the 10th best quarterback in the league. Then you have San Francisco 14-3. Super Bowl. Went to the Super Bowl the year before. They had 13 starters injured. If Trey Lance is good, I could have them even winning 15 games. If Trey Lance is good, he's not going to be that good. They 14 wins. So 14 wins gets them the 5 seed, if that tells you how good this division is. And then the Seahawks have 13 wins. Since we are the NW Sportscast, I'll just go over the 6 losses really quickly. I have us losing to the San Francisco 49ers in Week 4. I have us losing to the Saints in Week 7. I think the Saints always get us. I have us losing to the Rams. I think we're going to split with the Rams.
The Bears?
I was losing to the Bears in Week 16.
Oh my gosh.
There's going to be a random game we lose, and that's going to be the
my
game.
random game is the Texans, because I think at that point...
Texans?
I think at that point Watson will be playing, and I think Watson
You really think the Texans that much? And then I have the Cardinals at 8-1. I wanted to put them higher, but they have a tough division. They really do. I have them tied against the Carolina Panthers, if that matters at all. I don't know, would that... No, 10-7 is the 7th seed, so that does not matter for them. But, again, pretty close. J.J. Watt addition, A.J. Green, not enough.
Well, for me, I mean, I have the Niners winning the division at 12-5, tying with the Seahawks, but getting the tiebreaker. Hawks also 12-5. I think San Francisco goes 12-5, and Jimmy G starts every single game.
12-5 is good. No, Trey Lance is going to start.
Trey Lance is going
to start like 12 to 15, and then they're going to go back into Jimmy G.
If Trey Lance starts, they're going to lose all their games. Trey Lance is not good. His completion percentage was like 12% in the preseason.
Okay, we have a minute. Let's go quickly.
And Cardinals have it 10-7. Matthew Stafford is the most overrated player in the entire NFL. The Rams will go 9-8, barely make the playoffs as the 7th seed, and get destroyed in the first round by San Francisco. Stafford is not... He's past his prime, and they're just not as good. They have no running back.
Cowboys versus Bucks. Bucks win. 49ers versus football team. 49ers win. Seahawks versus Packers. I have the Seahawks taking an upset there. Then Seahawks versus Rams. I have the Seahawks winning that. Buccaneers versus 49ers. I have Buccaneers winning that. Bucks versus Seahawks. I don't think the Bucks go back. Seahawks go to the Super Bowl. I have Chiefs going to the Super Bowl on the other side versus the Ravens, and the Bills losing to the Ravens there. If you guys want to look at that, that's very quickly.
Wow.
And then I have the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl the 3rd straight time, and then beating the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are going to do good in the playoffs this year. It's kind of their year to do something in the playoffs, I think. Quickly, you have 30 seconds, Levi. Go.
Well, first of all, I do not have either of those teams. I don't think I have time to go over everything, but I'll just say AFC, I think it's between the Chiefs and the Ravens. I give the Ravens a slight edge because I don't. It's so hard to go to the Super Bowl 3 times, so I give the Ravens the edge there. NFC, I think it's between the Hawks and Packers and 49ers. That's a three-way battle there. I give it to the Packers because I want Aaron Rodgers to win a Super Bowl before he leaves. Super Bowl, Ravens beat the Packers.
Thanks for watching, guys. I know Sportscast.
Yeah. Seattle stand out.